I'm going to share with you a mindset, an affirmation, a belief that can transform the way you think about your place in the universe, the way that you approach your task of waking up every day and moving forward through life in a way that makes an impact. For a lot of people, myself included, I spent so much of my life not having any large sense of meaning or purpose. The activities I was engaged in were mostly this hedonic pleasure trap, right? I talk about all the time how I Peter Panned my way through my 20s, just following one pleasurable experience after another, kind of on an adventure, and that was great and fun. But there comes a point when I think all humans have this desire to make an impact, to leave an impression on the world, to at least leave it a little bit better than the way that they found it, to feel like their time on this planet mattered. And you don't discover that through the hedonistic pleasures of life that are easily had through cheap dopamine bursts, right? It comes from having a vision for your life and a purpose for what you're doing that's larger than yourself. But that's also very scary, and it's very hard to get clear about what that could even mean for you. Like, after all, you're just you. You're just little old you. What do you have to contribute to the world and to make it a better place or to improve things, right? And so often we get into this trap in our minds of thinking, well, what's my purpose? What's the point of all of this? And I believe that there is no large purpose. There is no large meaning to life. It's just whatever meaning you decide to ascribe to it. And that's both very empowering, but also very terrifying, because it means it's on to you to ultimately decide what the meaning is. And you have to take accountability and responsibility for that. And for myself, for a long time, I just shirked that responsibility. I didn't even address it. And I just pretended like it didn't matter until it got to the point where I was like, no, that does matter. That is what I want. And I think this is a universal human need. It's not to arrive. It's not to achieve. It's to pursue. It's to progress. And it's to pursue and progress towards something of value and of meaning to you, and whatever that means for you. And I want to share this idea, this reframe, this affirmation, this belief, because I think this is going to sound weird for a second. So stick with me. I think people who are ultra religious have an advantage. I think they have a cheat code. I always I think it's really important to look at any system, any mental model, any framework, any system that has evolved or survived for long periods of time, and ask yourself, what was the evolutionary advantage for that system to continue? Whether or not you believe in religion, whether that's Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, it doesn't matter, right? You have to look at religion as a whole, the system, and say, there's a reason for this, that it has stayed with us for all these years. It's not just some naive human need for this feeling of comfort that this life will mean something because there's a God that gives it some bigger meaning, and that there's this afterlife after this. Therefore, that's why I should behave in these altruistic and good ways, right? It's more than that. It has to be more than that, because otherwise there's so many different ways you could get those things, right? So what is the evolutionary advantage to believing there is a God who loves you, who has your best interests in mind, who is on your side, versus all of the chaotic enemies of life in the universe, right? Because the universe is not a friendly place. The universe does not want you to stay alive. Well, I think the evolutionary advantage is simply that believing there is a bigger purpose and that the universe or the Godhead wants you to win changes how you approach the game. It changes how you play the game. It removes a layer of fear. And if two people play the same game and they're all things being equal, except for one has fear and the other one doesn't, because they have this belief that they are chosen, that there is a higher purpose, there's a meaning, there's an intention behind the whole thing that they might not be able to understand currently, it imbues them with a different kind of courage, a different kind of conviction. And we know that our results are often the consequence of the conviction we bring to the activity. The more you believe in yourself that you can achieve the thing, the more likely it's to occur. And this is why people get very into like this affirmation type of hoo-ha, the secret manifestation, where If you say your affirmations, I am this, I am that, you rewire your neural networks in your brain. It makes it more likely for you to see the opportunities in front of you because you've engaged your reticular activating system. And therefore, when those opportunities present themselves, you are primed and ready to take advantage of them, right? It's not this mystical thing why these manifestations, affirmations, these beliefs, these convictions, these prayers, it's no magical miracle that they work once you start to work backwards from them. But here's why I think people who have deep faith, deep religion behind them have an unfair advantage. And I'm speaking to you, atheists out there, because I am an atheist. I don't know what I am. By the end of this, after I kind of share this next idea with you, you might look at it and be like, oh no, you're maybe agnostic or something. But who knows what you are, Anthony? The people who have faith, they have this preordained, pre-described system that they just have to buy into. And everything else, if they just follow that, they have this confidence that will, on a long enough time frame, work out. There's a lot of power in that. A lot of us are just looking for the user manual of life. And so that religion gives people that. Now, if you do not have that, here is the next best thing. And it's something I've been thinking about a lot recently. As you go through these challenges in life, it's very easy, if you have faith in a higher purpose, to say, God would not entrust me with something that I cannot handle. He would not give me, this is all a test. He knows this is leading me to the next thing, right? You can have this faith that it's all big part of this bigger picture. Well, here's another take, is replace the word God with just the word universe. And realize that the universe is nothing more than this energetic exchange, right? Energy and mass, matter, can't be created, can't be destroyed. It just is. And in this weird way, the more that we uncover about physics, about quantum physics, about the universe as a whole, we start to see just how entangled and intertwined the whole damn thing is, and how interconnected we all ultimately are in ways that we can't quite even understand in this moment, and perhaps we never will. But I find a lot of solace in believing that I am, in my consciousness, a fragment of the universe that the universe uses for the purposes of its own self-exploration, its own self-awareness, and its own self-improvement. Think about this. If the universe, one of the most unique consequences of being a human is that you're conscious, right? You have the ability to think, to plan, to even have this conversation. Animals can't do that. We're the only things that we are aware of in the universe that currently can do this, right? So consciousness is this incredibly rare, incredibly special thing that we don't understand, and we don't understand where it extends and where it ends. If it's my consciousness, your consciousness, our consciousness, the consciousness. But I like to think that there's a level to this that I don't understand yet. And that level is that there is a universal consciousness, and that this whole experience that we're having here right now is that consciousness, that universal consciousness's way of understanding itself more deeply. And each one of us is a test subject in this world for the purposes of this universe to understand itself better. You're going through these trials and tribulations right now. You're going through these struggles, these obstacles and opportunities so that the universe can understand its full potential, the full extent of its capacity. And in pushing against the extent of its capacities, it also expands. We know the universe is in this constant state of expansion, of exploration. And I just find this to be a really cool idea to reflect and affirm in yourself that you are a tool of the universe for self-improvement, that you are the agent through which the universe is exploring itself and learning and challenging itself to become bigger and better. So when you're going through challenges, and I'm going through some pretty big challenges right now in one of my businesses, so I reflect on this quite a lot. It's like, well, what is the purpose of this? Well, the purpose of this, of me going through this right now, is to learn, to expand, to grow. And in that learning, expansion, and growth, to help the universe expand, learn, and grow. And as an extension, help all the people around me do the same. And I think I don't think, but I know that I have found incredible solace with this particular idea recently. And so I share it with you for the hopes that perhaps you can see yourself as part of a bigger tapestry, just a paintbrush stroke in the tapestry of the cosmos. You are a fragment of the the infinite consciousness, and its attempt to understand itself. And your role here is to become the best version of yourself, because as you progress, as you move towards that, it's not just about you, it's about all of us. All of us collectively making this thing better. So, I don't know if that's useful. Take it and run with it if you like it. If you don't, delete this all from your mind space. Go back to your regularly scheduled programs, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow.